Hi there and welcome to this Hockey Inside Out Show bonus episode. I'm Stu Cowan of the Gazette and we have a special guest this week. Former Canadian Nate Thompson played 15 seasons in the NHL, including 2 with Montreal before hanging up his skates a couple of years ago, now working in the media in LA. And my regular partner here, Rick Green, former Canadiens defenseman, assistant coach, 1986 Stanley Cup champion. You all know who he is. Rick, Brendan Gallagher, a chance to hit the 20-goal mark for the first time in 5 seasons this year. Are you surprised at what he's been able to do this year?
I am a little surprised. I mean, Brendan Gallagher, has shown the pride of being a Montreal Canadien since he arrived. And, looking at what he had to deal with, you talk about adversity, and it seemed to be he was snake bit through breaking his hand, through groin, through just a bunch of things that just kept, haunting him and hurting his game. And I think the results show that, he wasn't healthy. Was he going to get healthy? And thank goodness he did. And we're seeing healthy Brendan Gallagher. And, let's not forget what this guy has dealt with on his family front with his mom and all these things that went on behind the scenes to stay focused, driven, and motivated like this guy has to bring it each and every shift, each and every night, is a classic example of a guy that just lives and breathes the Montreal Canadiens. And I am really, really happy to see that he's found his way back and he's having success because he's deserving of it. And he's worked through a lot of different gray areas and has found a way to perform and get the results. And, I'm really, really happy to see him healthy and see him delivering and bringing what he's bringing to the team, both on and off the ice.
Nate Gallagher, I believe, is one of 4 guys still with the team you played with, right? Along with Yoel Armia, Jake Evans, and Nick Suzuki. What did you like most about him as a teammate, and what's impressive about what he's done this season?
I think with Brendan Gallagher, the thing that impressed me the most was his compete level. I think every practice, every shift. So, I remember some shifts, I look at Gallagher, like, Gallagher, you don't have to go that hard every single shift, but it's just the way he is, it's the way he plays. And Rick said it too. I think, he's had a lot of injuries. I think probably a result of how he plays. Mm-hmm. And, I think now, being healthy, having some good chemistry with some line mates, and, he's dealt with a lot. And Brendan Gallagher is a guy that has always played with a chip on his shoulder and, any kind of adversity. I'm not surprised that Brendan Gallagher is doing what he's doing and possibly going to hit the 20-goal mark. And he's having a strong season because it's the type of person he is. And, my time with him as a teammate, he's a fun-loving guy. He's always got a smile on his face. And if Brendan Gallagher is going the way he's going right now, it's a huge plus for the Canadiens. It's a huge plus for that locker room because I know he's a huge part of that locker room as well. And those guys were rallying around him. That team was rallying around him during the time with his mom. And so he's a guy I root for, and he's a guy I think that if he can continue to play the way he's playing, and Montreal makes the playoffs, he could be an X factor for that team, down the stretch.
Nate, you can relate probably you were sort of an older guy on a team with younger players. It must be fun for Gallagher, and I guess get energized maybe by the young guys too.
Yeah, absolutely. When you have young guys that are excited and maybe you're hanging out with them, it does bring an infectious energy in with you. So I think. You're seeing that with this team. You're seeing that with some of the veterans and playing with some of the younger guys and certainly with Brendan Gallagher as well.
Rick, as a defenseman, what would make Brendan Gallagher so hard to play against?
You would pound away at him and he'd get back up and he'd come back and he'd kick and scratch and do anything that he could do to be effective. He just wouldn't go away. And, it's a testament of the character of the guy. He just doesn't want to. He doesn't want to give up. You get knocked down, he gets up. He gets hurt, whatever. He's just going to keep coming at you and bring everything that he can. And those type of ingredients in individuals are nice to have on your side. Not always that nice to play against because it's just going to be a battle from start to finish.
Well, Nate, you played with him and against him. What was it like playing against him?
Oh, playing against him was just annoying. He's just annoying. And Rick said it. He just doesn't stop. He doesn't quit. He's going to stay in your face no matter what you say to him. No matter if you hit him hard, if you hit him harder the next time, he's just going to keep coming. So I think Rick said it perfect. I think with Brendan Gallagher, you're just going to get a guy that's going to be in your face all night, no matter what.
Was he a chirper on the ice, Nate, or was he?
A little bit, yeah. He would chirp, but I think it was just with Gally, he was just always, in scrums and pushing you, or he'd be in your face, or he was always in front of the net. We knew that he was always going to be in front of the net, causing havoc, and that was one thing that I always remember about Brendan Gallagher.
Rick, I know back in your day, cross-checking was a lot more legal than it is now. Although Brendan Gallagher still takes a lot of cross-checks in front of the net. He's like a human piñata almost. Are you surprised he's been able to stay healthy the last 2 seasons?
Well, yes. I mean, he's a guy that knows the kind of game that he needs to play, and he brings it, and that's in his way of doing things, and he's good at it. And the opposition, like I said before, they're not totally happy to know that he's coming at them over and over again, no matter how hard they try and tone him down. He's just going to come back harder. So he's a real character and a real fighter. Just Nate, great guy.
Nate, another guy, one of the guys you played with, Jake Evans, been a key player on this team this season. I believe Jake was the guy he took your job, didn't he, here in Montreal?
I think so. I mean, I got traded, and I was probably an easy trade because of Jake Evans, which is good. And I think that year I get traded and then ended up playing against Montreal in the bubble in the first round, which was ironic. But yeah, Jake Evans is he was another guy I think watching last night, just so smart. He made a couple of good plays. He won some big faceoffs in the defensive zone. He's just a guy that's really rounded out his game, but he's been not only good defensively, but I think he's added some offense too.
Yeah. Rick, does Gallagher remind you of anybody you played against? The style he plays?
The guy I played against, Gary Howard, I don't remember that guy, but little guy, but just, what a pain. And it didn't matter how many times I cross-checked him. He was still going to come back and try and beat you up. So anyways, there's a lot of guys that, that are out there that understand how they have to play to stay in the league, and not always that fun to play against.
No, it's nice to see Gallagher bouncing back. I mean, I've maintained for a long time. He's sort of like the heart and soul of this team, I think. Nick Suzuki's the captain, but I think would you agree that Gallagher is sort of the heart and soul that keeps this team going?
Yeah, I think he's definitely a part of that. And I think, if you took Brendan Gallagher out of the lineup, and you guys have seen it, it's a different team, and it's a different locker room too. And I'm sure Nick Suzuki would tell you the same thing, because I would imagine he leans on Brendan Gallagher a lot for different things. And Gally was a leader even when I was there. I mean, he's been a part of that locker room for a long time, and I think he has definitely the pulse of that room, and knows when to say things at the right time, knows when not to say things, and been probably a huge support system for Nick Suzuki.
All right. Well, that's it for this Hockey Inside Out Show bonus episode. I hope you all enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe to the Hockey Inside Out YouTube channel. Go to MontrealGazette.com/newsletters to sign up for the Hockey Inside Out newsletter. And of course, go to HockeyInsideOut.com, where you'll get all the latest Canadiens news every day. And if you have a bonus question you'd like us to answer in a future bonus episode, or please let us know in the comment section below.